Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. For those that celebrate and those that don't, it's all right. But I wanted to share something really interesting, something else that we wanted to kind of remind everybody about how we want to be able to stick to that which we know is true. Oftentimes when you hear things that is not true, I'd say that just we want to kick back into your childlike faith and things that we know is true. And this is Mrs. Santiago, this is Amy, and she's got a daughter that is now almost 14 years old and diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 3. So they've been wrestling with this extremely difficult challenge, as a lot of people would probably know. A lot of folks know about type 1 diabetes and how it's not really comparable to type 2 diabetes at all. They shouldn't even be considered. Now that I know it about a little bit, I would say that I don't even like that they even call type 2 diabetes because they're not the same at all. But anyways, it's a very serious disease. It could be very terminal, and so she's been dealing with this for 11 years. And the standard when they first heard about this was that you need to keep the sugars around 150. Blood sugar around 150, whatever that means. So that's what they got to do. So, and if it's too low, like around 100, you're kind of okay. But when you start getting below the 100, it starts to get a little bit dangerous, and you could pass out, as far as I understand. And so I don't know what was high is like what
200.
So 200 would be a little bit much, and then 100 is a little on the low side. But so you try to keep it around 150. That's how it's been for 11 years, and now last year or two so ago, people are starting to propagate things from the system and saying something that is extremely dangerous and trying to say the normal now is 70, in the 70s, which
70s and 80s is normal.
70s and 80s is normal, which is about 20 below the kind of a low. 100 is already low enough, and then they're bringing it 20 and 30 below that, which is very bad. It can cause you to pass out, you said? Mm-hmm. And what else? Like, it's just very serious stuff. So you're into a place, and then she says that she's hearing articles about people dying from type 1 diabetes more because of low blood sugar, and no wonder, because people put so much trust in what they're hearing from the mainstream. And I can't remember what else I heard recently that is just the same kind of idea of like false information that is causing people to just go with whatever they're hearing. And we put a lot of trust in things that we know in our heart that is not true. We know in our own just basic human existence, we know it's not right. So we got to be really careful with all that. So that's one testimony. You said there was a commercial. You want to tell me about that?
A commercial for a Libra, where a man's...
A Libra?
A Libra.
What is that?
It's a continuous glucose meter.
Oh.
And he's trail riding, and he checks his blood sugar, and it's in the 80s, and he rides off like it's perfectly normal.
Yeah, so...
Keep riding, and you're going to pass out.
So that was one, and then there was other things propagating...
Trying to normalize it.
Normalizing overly low blood sugar. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing, a commercial, and then there's also a article as well?
Right, an article with type 1s that have been dying in their sleep from low blood sugars.
Yeah.
Because they're listening to the new medical advice.
The new medical advice.
Of what is normal.
So, like we know about a lot of different things, there's a lot of things that are going along. And people take a stand when something pops up. We know instantly what it is, and then all of a sudden we change our mind over time, And so we see people changing their mind about this and this and this. We already knew, but then no, maybe they were right. Maybe they were right. And then we slowly change our mind to give up our humanity to believe insanity. That's all it really comes down to. Mm-hmm. And we care about people. We want them to live long. We don't want them, if you happen to have some difficult challenges in getting good advice, we hope that you would get good advice from people who really do care about you and are going to be changing things around. So anyways, that was a new thing that popped on my mind, and she's the expert. She's been wrestling with this. I mean, and it is a very serious battle for type 1 diabetic brothers and sisters. We are standing with you. We know that it is not easy. Of course, I've been driving truck for years. I met a gentleman who happened to have the same age. He had a son that's type 1 diabetic. He came out of the house just frantic, like, man, everything's so messed up. And he was really struggling with it, and he was showing it quite clearly. And I was like, oh, how old is your son? And he said, 12. And I was like, yeah, that's how old my wife's daughter is. That's how old she is. And she's going through the same thing. It is some heavy stuff. So I'm new to this autoimmune disease world, and knowing that there really isn't a cure for it, but there's ways of treating it, and keeping your blood sugar at 150 is more of the better way to do it, right?
Right, even
Yeah.
between 100 and 150. Definitely not 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
What they're saying is normal now.
Yeah, we got to be careful what we believe in. I guess we got to get lots of different advice from different places. Like I say, to try to get your opinions from, firsthand experiences, firsthand understandings, people who have the platforms and people who don't. Anyways, that's all for today, folks, and hope you guys have a great day. Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time. Amen.